Our top headlines: Sheridan takes a deep dive into cyber victimization. Uganda passes an anti-LGBTQ bill. And have fun and unwind as today marks National Goof Off Day. Good afternoon. It's Wednesday, March 22nd. I am Dalia Sibey. Our top story: Premier Doug Ford has announced a tax credit that will help Ontario businesses. Ford says they are working to ensure that expanding operations are happening around the clock. Cassie Nicholas has been following the story.
Yes, Dahlia. This morning, Premier Ford announced that the Ontario government will be giving $780 million over the next 3 years to local manufacturers. Pending the passing of the new bill, they will also be proposing legislation that includes a new tax benefit of 10% refundable new tax benefit, corporate income tax of up to $2 million per year.
This program, this new tax credit, will help local manufacturing companies grow, innovate, become more competitive, and most importantly, create good-paying jobs. And this is just one of the many initiatives we're taking to grow our manufacturing sectors across the province.
This legislation would assist Canadian-controlled private corporations. It would be giving them investments for the qualified projects within building, machinery, and equipment use for the manufacturing or processing within Ontario. This tax credit will be available to businesses that include offices, factories, and workshops. This comes ahead of the 2023 budget that's being announced tomorrow afternoon. The Finance Minister says that he cannot disclose any more information on the budget before then, but that the new Ontario-made manufacturing investment tax credit is just one part of the plan to build a stronger economy for the future. Back to you, Dahlia.
Thank you, Cassie. Scarborough-Guildwood MPP Mitzi Hunter has announced her candidacy for the position of Mayor of Toronto in the upcoming municipal election. Hunter has promised to tackle the issue of affordable housing, invest in public transit, and work towards building a more inclusive city. She has also pledged to work towards a sustainable and green city with a focus on creating jobs and improving the economy. Hunter is the first major candidate to announce her intention to run in the June by-election. If you're traveling today, make sure to plan your trip ahead of time. The Ministry of Transportation has announced 14 highway closures throughout the GTA. Closures have been scheduled for road work on multiple areas of highways 400, 401, 403, 427, and Queen Elizabeth Way. Most of the road work will be completed over the next couple of days. However, Queen Elizabeth Way Fort Eyre bound between Highway 427 and Dixie Road will remain closed until Sunday morning. For more information on the closures, visit the Ministry of Transportation's website. To all burger lovers, Shake Shack is coming to Canada soon. The fast food chain, known for its burgers, has announced yesterday its plan to expand to Canada with its first location set to open in Toronto in 2024. Shake Shack has partnered with the restaurant company Sizzling Platter to bring the chain to the country. The U.S. burger chain said it will collaborate with local producers to create a special Shack experience unique to the Toronto community. The menu will also feature signature Shake Shack items, including the Shack burger, a chicken shack, beer, wine, and frozen custard. Online and social media usage rates have been increasing among young people for a long time. According to a recent report from Statistics Canada, the risk of online forms of bullying and victimization is also on the rise. Mehmet Honor talked to expert and Sheridan student to ask about cyber victimization.
Cyber victimization signifies threatening or exposing a person to harassment, humiliation, embarrassment, and intimidation by another person through communication technologies. The report titled Cyber Victimization Among Young Adults in Canada, released by Statistics Canada in mid-March, shows that cyber victimization cases among young adults are increasing.
Cyber victimization is related to a person who may be a person or a group of people who are attacked online. It's usually repeated reposts of hurtful content intended to inflict harm onto somebody. So there's key elements involved in cyberbullying incidences. One is intention, the second is repetition, another one is accessibility, and then the fourth one, being anonymous.
According to the report, some young people are more vulnerable to cyber victimization, including those aged 18 to 21, women, and the LGBTQ2 population and people with disabilities. Therefore, use of online protection measures is more common among women victims. While 31% of female users prefer to block people when compared to a negative behavior, this rate remains at 17% for men.
Personally, honestly, I don't do too much. I just ignore them because I've become really aware of which ones are fake and which ones are actually legitimate, especially if it's a company that I don't really associate myself with. I don't check the email unless I know that an email will come towards me.
Best advice is common sense and never trust anything that you cannot verify.
I get text messages all the time that I have an e-transfer waiting. Like, let's say it's like $50, click this link to redeem it. And sometimes I think that it's real because like I think it might be my friend who might owe me some money. But then I check it again and I don't think that this is real because usually my friends send it right away and it wouldn't be there. So I usually just like report the phone number and block it.
Cyber victimization is relatively a new concern, but it is certainly possible for young people to cope with it. If you encounter cyber victimization, share it with your friends or family. Consulting an expert will also be an effective way. And approach every post and message you see suspicious online with caution. For Sheridan Sun, I am Mehmet Honor.
Cloudy weather conditions with lots of winds in Oakville today. Paulina Rose is standing by outside with a first look at the weather forecast. Paulina?
Thanks, Dahlia. It's 5 degrees out right now, but feels like 3 with a high of 7. We have winds coming at us at 21 kilometers per hour. As for the evening, there will be a low of 6 with periods of rain and fog in the sky. Thursday morning, expect yourself to wake up to a cloudy sky with showers and even more wind. A raincoat should do the trick for tomorrow, as we're looking at it being 9 degrees. Back to you, Dahlia.
This morning, new motions were introduced in an effort to save the Greenbelt. We now go to Myrna Tony, who has been following the story closely.
Thank you, Dahlia. The Ford government is taking Ontario backwards. That's what NDP MPP Sandy Shaw said earlier today during a press conference regarding the heavily discussed Greenbelt. She was joined by her colleagues Peter Tabbins and Saul Mamakwa, where she introduced 4 motions that, if passed, will disrupt Premier Doug Ford's controversial plans for the Greenbelt and require a provincial water strategy to be mandated.
I'm calling number 1 on the Ford government to expand the Greenbelt by working with farmers, municipal leaders, and with Indigenous communities. I'm calling on the government to work again with Indigenous communities and all orders of government and business leaders and environmental stakeholders to protect 30% of our province's water by 2030. We here believe that water is for life and not for profit, so we are asking for a public review of the government's permit to take water process, the permit to taking water process, particularly when it comes to bottling water in the province. And finally, we believe that this government should base all decisions about water on what is in the best public interest and one that honors treaty obligations. So we're calling on this government to develop a transparent and comprehensive provincial water strategy for all of us and for future generations.
During the conference, the 3 NDP members spoke of the detrimental effects to the Greenbelt, things such as no access to clean drinking water for Indigenous people, changes to water conditions in Lake Ontario, and increased drought and flooding. This topic has remained in the news since the Ford government announced the Greenbelt Development Plan back in December of 2022. Doug Ford has been facing constant backlash ever since. The Premier has not yet commented on the motions proposed today. Back to you, Dahlia.
Via Rail has apologized after a Muslim man was told not to pray at an Ottawa train station. Via Rail said in a statement they are dismayed by the incident. They added, "We want to apologize unreservedly to the individuals involved and to the entire Muslim community. The man decided to pray in an empty hallway while waiting for his bus. He was later approached by a security guard who told him he could not pray in the station. A viral video of the incident shows the guard saying, 'We don't want you to pray here. You are bothering our other customers.'" On Wednesday, the Wall Canal in North America is set to reopen following a 3-month maintenance shutdown. President and CEO of the St. Lawrence Seaway Management Corporation, Terrence F. Bowles, says the seaway benefits the economy by shipping grain to various areas in Canada, Europe, Africa, and other parts of the world. The seaway also facilitates the shipment of sugar and iron ore, directly impacting construction in the Niagara region and infrastructure across Canada. Time for a quick break. When we come back, a look at a national news, and with the presidential campaign on the horizon, Trump has both celebrated how an indictment would help him politically and complained about how unfair it would be. Stay with us. U.S. President Joe Biden and First Lady Jill Biden are visiting Ottawa this week to meet with the Governor General and Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Biden will also address Parliament. The pair will arrive on Thursday evening and stay until Friday. Talks are expected to focus on issues such as defense, migration, economic development, and the situation in Haiti. The Ottawa Police Service says residents will see a large police presence this week as part of security measures. 5 people remain missing as rescuers continue to search for victims after a major fire in Old Montreal over the weekend. Two bodies have been recovered so far, with the latest being removed on Tuesday evening. Due to the unsafe condition of the building, rescuers are unable to enter on foot. Crews are working to remove parts of debris that have a chance of causing a collapse. Plans to tear the building down further have been delayed until all victims are located. Montreal police say, "Our priority is to find those victims." The U.S. Federal Reserve has raised interest rates today by a 1/4 percentage point. The hike was announced in a statement earlier this afternoon. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell held a press conference shortly after the announcement to answer questions and provide more information. The rate hike comes despite the aftermath of the Silicon Valley Bank collapse, which has many worried about a global banking crisis. This brings the federal fund rate to its highest level since 2007. Former U.S. President Donald Trump is awaiting a potential indictment by the Manhattan District Attorney Office, which is conducting a criminal investigation into Trump's business dealings.
Right now, former President Trump is facing no fewer than 4 criminal investigations.
The investigation concerning the former president's ongoing.
The case that seems to be putting Trump in the most immediate jeopardy, the Manhattan District Attorney's investigation into hush money payments to porn star Stormy Daniels.
Did you know about the $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels?
No. The case involves potentially falsified business records and possible campaign finance violations, something that would have surprised Trump back in 1999.
I think nobody knows more about campaign finance than I do.
The payments to Daniels were facilitated by Cohen in the final days of the 2016 campaign. The Access Hollywood tape had just come out.
When you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
And Daniels was allegedly trying to sell her story about sleeping with Trump.
Was it hush money to stay silent?
Yes. The story was coming out again.
Cohen, Trump's former fixer and personal attorney, became one of his primary antagonists.
I know what Mr. Trump is. He is a racist, he is a con man, and he is a cheat.
Cohen has met with the Manhattan DA's office 20 times and appeared before the grand jury twice to testify about a $130,000 payment to Daniels to silence her about an alleged affair with Trump.
Mr. President!
Trump denies any such affair. Now, almost 7 years later, the case may be coming to a conclusion. But while this particular investigation may be the most imminent, legal experts say it's far from the most consequential. Trump is also facing a dual-pronged special counsel investigation.
It is in the public interest to appoint a special counsel,
examining both the former president's handling of classified documents at Mar-a-Lago and possible obstruction.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol.
And his involvement in the events leading up to the storming of the Capitol on January 6th.
Jack Smith's case is the most important because it's the constitutionally most significant to the country.
And that's not the only investigation related to the 2020 election and its aftermath. In Georgia, Fulton County DA Fani Willis is looking into Trump and his allies' efforts to overturn the 2020 election.
I just want to find 11,780 votes.
In that case, a special grand jury returned a report recommending multiple indictments, and the DA is still deciding on whether to bring charges.
On Tuesday, a report from the UN showed 26% of the world's population does not have access to safe drinking water, with 46% deprived of basic sanitation. The report strongly focuses on the huge gap that needs to be filled to meet UN goals to ensure all people have access to clean water and sanitation by 2030. Editor-in-chief of the report says it would cost $600 billion and $1 trillion a year to meet goals. In Uganda, Parliament passed a bill criminalizing the identification of LGBTQ people and imposing the death penalty for some crimes.
Ugandan MPs, 389 of them, just passed the Anti-Homosexuality Bill 2023. It now goes to President Museveni for assent, and it's been described as one of the most strict anti-gay laws anywhere in Africa, probably anywhere in the world. I want to read for you a specific section of this bill that criminalizes not just same-sex acts, but even identifying as gay, lesbian, queer, transgender. Any of those identifications is now criminal in Uganda if this act that's been passed by Parliament is assented to by President Museveni. Even the name itself is a dead giveaway, the Anti-Homosexuality Bill 2023. And in a long session in the Ugandan Parliament, there was very rowdy debate, sometimes homophobic, sometimes ignorant, oftentimes using very dangerous rhetoric against people who identify as LGBT in the country. And it's unlikely that President Museveni wants to assent to it because he's called homosexual people in the country deviants. Listen.
The homosexuals are deviations from normal. The Western countries should stop wasting the time of humanity by trying to impose their practices on other peoples.
This anti-homosexuality bill in Uganda saw a rare moment of bipartisanship in the Ugandan parliament. It was moved by an opposition MP, Asman Brasali-Rwa, but it was supported by MPs across the aisle, many of them from President Museveni's NRM party and from other parties in parliament. They appear to conflate homosexuality with grooming, with pedophilia, and appear to use all these words interchangeably, at least the intentions, and that is why it's got lots of popular support, not just in parliament, but within many Ugandans, which is a very religious nation, because as long as you say that homosexuals groom children, that they are pedophiles, then you can see why that quickly translates across the country. And now it's up to President Museveni, who is likely to sign it into law.
Capital punishment will be included in the hardline anti-homosexuality bill. The death penalty can also be invoked for cases involving aggravated homosexuality by a serial offender or incest. An earthquake in the Middle East has left at least 19 people dead and over 200 injured. On Tuesday evening, parts of Afghanistan and Pakistan were hit by a 6.5 magnitude earthquake that sent people rushing from their homes. The quake damaged buildings and triggered landslides. Tremors were felt as far away as India. Due to the remoteness and zone of affected areas, rescue and relief efforts will take longer. The full extent of the damage is currently unknown. As of today's sundown, the Muslim holy month of Ramadan begins. More than 1.8 billion Muslims, who account for around a quarter of the world's population, are expected to observe Ramadan. This involves fasting from sunrise to sunset for 30 days and engaging in spiritual reflection and charitable acts. The month is a time for Muslims to deepen their faith and enhance their relationship with God while remembering the less fortunate. After the last day of fasting, Muslims celebrate Eid al-Fitr, a 3-day holiday during which children receive new clothes and gifts. Time for a quick break. Still ahead, sports and entertainment news, as well as your full 5-day forecast and the Beatles' 12th album ranked and rated on their 60th anniversary. Stay with us. Welcome back. Time now for a look at entertainment with Sam Smith. Sam?
Thank you, Dahlia. Sheridan College has collaborated with their community partner, the Oakville Festivals of Film and Art, to share the screening of Something That You Said Last night. The movie follows a trans...
Make a wish.
The movie follows a trans girl, Ren, taking a beach resort vacation with her family, while finding a balance between her desire for independence and the comfort of being cared for by her parents. Screening will take place tonight at 7:30 p.m. at film.ca Oakville. There will be a Q&A after the screening with the movie's cast and the crew as well. Tickets are free, and we'd love to see you out there tonight. A court trial involving actress Gwyneth Paltrow has begun over a ski collision back in 2016. Terry Sanderson, a 76-year-old optometrist, shared while skiing at Deer Valley Resort. Paltrow skied out of control, knocking him out, causing a brain injury and 4 broken ribs alongside other serious injuries. Sanderson first sued Paltrow for $3.1 million, but later changed his complaint and is now seeking about $300,000 in damages, according to court documents as well. While Paltrow only asks for a single dollar in damages plus attorney's fee. Very humble. Very few bands get to celebrate their 60th anniversary, but now the Beatles is one of those few bands as well. Their first show was February 27th, 1963, and performed in York City, England. Local residents have been paying their respects to the band and celebrating their first show by inviting people to bring music memorabilia to be valued at their Monday event being held at York City FC. Post Malone settled a copyright suit from a songwriter claiming he was denied credit and compensation for one of the artist's top songs, Circles, which was released in 2019. Post and the writer, Tyler Armes, managed to reach a settlement deal as the jury was being selected. The court previously dismissed Armes' claim for authorship of Circles, leaving only the authorship of the song still at issue. The Korean pop star Chae-young from the group Twice received major backlash on Instagram for posting pictures of her wearing a shirt depicting a swastika. She later deleted the post and replaced it with an apology. This came days after she was called out for wearing a shirt with a QAnon imagery on it as well. During Twice's performance on NBC's show, Chae-young wore a shirt with a Q-shaped cutout of the American flag and the quote, "Where we go one, we go all." Many Twice fans place the blame on the girls' group stylists for not doing their due diligence. And that's it for entertainment news. Now let's take a look at sports with my friend Sean.
Thanks, Sam. The Maple Leafs were supposed to play the Islanders last night in New York, but not much hockey was actually being played by the Maple Leafs.
Lee chips it ahead. Riley nudges it on. And right back in. Here's Marner with speed. Marner! Oh, what a stop by Sorokin!
The Leafs played the red-hot Islanders and got blown out of the game 7-2. Toronto did win their last game against the Senators and sit 4th in the East with 12 games left to play in the season. They head to Florida tomorrow night to play against the Panthers. Puck drops at 7:30, which you can watch live on Sportsnet 1. Hockey's biggest goal scorer breaks another record and did it in front of the home fans.
When play began this evening, a big night in the NHL, 12 other games going on. Wilson cross ice, Ovechkin to the goal mouth, score!
Alex Ovechkin scored his 40th goal of the season last night, setting a new record for the most 40-goal seasons with 13. The previous record was held by the one, the only Wayne Gretzky with 12. The record-setting goal came in the first period but ended in an overtime loss to the Columbus Blue Jackets. It was the 820th goal of his career and only sits 74 goals behind Wayne Gretzky at 894, which is the most in NHL history. The Raptors are back in the 6th tonight, hosting the Indiana Pacers. The team is coming in after a loss to the Milwaukee Bucks on Sunday night, 118-111. Delano Banton remains out for Toronto, and Scotty Barnes is listed as questionable with left wrist soreness. Pitchers say Tyrese Halliburton is also out for the game. You can catch the game tonight at 7:30 on NBA Live. March Madness continues to break brackets and hearts as we enter the Sweet 16 tomorrow.
Take it on Johnson. Adams is fouled, and it goes. As soon as it hit 20. See if Arkansas can capitalize.
The tournament has already seen many upsets in the first couple of rounds, including the 15th seeded Princeton knocking out the 2nd seeded Arizona. And the most shocking, the 1st seeded Purdue getting bounced by the 16th seeded FDU. 16 teams remain with 4 games tomorrow and 4 on Friday. The NBA world was saddened yesterday as NBA legend Willis Reed passed away at the age of 80.
19 Willis Reed, taken by Oscar Robertson. John Havlicek, a lead pass to Reed, and the East leads 4-2. Willis Reed.
The Hall of Famer spent his 11 seasons with the New York Knicks in the 60s and 70s. Reed was a 7-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA, Rookie of the Year in 1965, 2-time NBA champ, 2-time Finals MVP, and won the regular season MVP in 1970. He collected career averages of 19 points per game and 13 rebounds. Willis played in an era that was being dominated by fellow big men Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell. Willis Reed had a huge impact on the NBA and will remain as one of the most underrated centers in history. In exciting news, the 24-year-old soccer sensation continues to make his mark on the sport. The France national team announced yesterday that Kylian Mbappé will be the new captain to represent the team ahead of the 2024 Euro qualifiers. The qualifiers begin tomorrow afternoon with 8 games, including Italy and versus England. Buona fortuna, squadra Italia. That's a look at your sports. Now to Paulina with the weather.
Thanks, John. This week we can expect some nicer and warmer weather, but let's keep a lookout because we received a freezing rain alert as well. On Thursday, we have a high of 10 with a low of +1. Winds both northwest and south will be gusting in towards early afternoon at 40 kilometers per hour. On Friday, we have a high of 6 degrees and a low of 1, mostly cloudy, with winds at 13 kilometers per hour. Saturday, we're looking at a high of 7 and a low of 2 with 100% precipitation and 80% humidity. On Sunday, expect a cloudy day with a high of 8 and a low of 0. The precipitation sits at nearly 20 with our humidity being 57%, wind speeds at 32 kilometers per hour. And then for the start of the week, our Monday blues won't be so blue with a partly cloudy sky and a low chance of rain. Thanks for tuning in. Now to Dahlia.
Thank you, Paulina. It's National Goof Off Day. It's your day off from work and responsibilities. You can do some fun and exciting stuff without worrying about the consequences. The observance that has started in Michigan in 1976 encourages people to let loose, relax, and enjoy the little things in life. Some people celebrate by playing pranks, doing something silly, or simply taking the day off to rest and recharge. It's a great reminder to not take life too seriously and to prioritize self-care and happiness. That's all for your Wednesday, March 22nd. For the Sheridan Sun, I am Dahlia Sive. Thanks for watching.